Hello, my name is Brenda White, and we are talking about how to hold productive meetings. When you start a meeting, you need to start and end on time. You should always start and end on time because people's time is very important. Their time is valuable, and in the corporate world, most people have a schedule that they work by. People will generally have a more positive attitude and are more likely to show up on time and participate in the meeting if it stays on schedule. How many of you don't want to go to meetings because you know that it's either going to start late or it's going to end late? It gives you a negative outlook on going to a meeting. The second thing is talk to people on a personal level. It's helpful in the beginning of a meeting if you just spend some time chatting with the people that are attending. It's very productive to people for them to relate on a personal level. People need to build friendships, they need a chance to show their personalities and to establish a rapport. So chatting for a few minutes in the beginning, a lot of times it'll break the ice, it'll make people feel more relaxed and comfortable, and it will make them be more involved in the meeting because they're relaxed and they feel like they know you, which always helps not be so nervous. Number 3, you should always take responsibility. Usually when a meeting is scheduled, it is to go over things that are problems or issues. It often involves a lot of blame giving and blame taking. And I know it's not pleasant to accept blame. However, it is a necessary aspect of accepting the responsibility. Taking the blame for something that's done by a team of people that are working with you can dramatically increase your organizational credibility on all sides. And remember, don't ever say things that are going to undermine or antagonize other people because they will notice it and they don't appreciate it. And blaming or antagonizing someone at a meeting makes them feel really stupid. It belittles them and it's embarrassing for them, and it will potentially make them not want to spend time in any meetings anymore. Okay, and then we come to sharing the credit. Along with blame, a meeting is also a great place to give people credit. Bring some positive back into the meeting. It's always good to be sure you point out great work, call for a round of applause for a colleague that's doing a great job. Sharing the credit's never going to diminish the number of gold stars that you get because people really admire the ability to give credit. And people are going to work a lot harder for you and be more productive if they feel appreciated and if they know they are doing a great job. Recognition really goes a long ways to make someone feel good in a job. Okay, and I'm going to hand out a sample of, it's a sample agenda. Next we're going to talk about having an agenda, and it's a very important step. So I have created a sample agenda template that you can take with you today. You can use that in the future. You can change it up if you want to, tailor it to fit your needs. But it's also kind of a guide to show you how simple it is to create an agenda. You should always hand out the agenda in advance, along with anything that needs to be read, any kind of materials. That way people can prepare for the meeting. It's very important for people to be prepared to have a productive meeting. Make sure that you let them know if they need to bring anything with them to the meeting, so that they don't get in there in panic because they're on the spot without the needed tools that they need. The meeting is going to stay on track a lot easier if you follow the agenda. It's going to let out on time. It's going to be a lot less stressful, and a lot more productive. And then you always want to know why you're attending a meeting. And this is a big one because I think a lot of people go to meetings and they don't even know what the meeting is about. You should always find out why you're invited to attend a meeting so you can be prepared to contribute and to participate in that meeting. The worst feeling in the world is when you show up at a meeting and you don't have the information that you need. You may be asked a lot of questions that you can't answer. You may be asked to speak and not be prepared to speak. It's very uncomfortable, and it's pretty common, I believe. How many of you have ever shown up in a meeting unprepared? It's very embarrassing, and it can affect the whole meeting in a negative way. It can throw the whole meeting off, the agenda off. So that is one of the biggest things you need to remember is know why you're attending, and know the agenda. You always want to keep your meetings short. Regular meetings should always be as short as possible and very structured so that you get as much information as you can in a short period of time. Again, people's time is very important. They may have other meetings scheduled. They may have other obligations, so it's important to get them out there in a timely manner. You should also have in place some rules for canceling the meeting in case an emergency comes up and the meeting has to be canceled, so that everyone can rearrange their schedule as planned. The main reason for keeping a meeting short is because people lose interest very easily and quickly. Long meetings create boredom, and they become not very productive because people lose interest in what is being said. So it kind of is defeating the purpose. And if you have a longer meeting, something that you can't really do in a short amount of time, make sure you schedule breaks. You want to schedule breaks for people because they do get distracted very easily. The main thing that distracts people is the feeling that they're out of touch for too long. They're worried about their email, they're worried about their phone messages, they're worried about emergencies, they're worried about clients and the everyday things at work. And if you schedule a break, it gives them the opportunity to check their email, use the restroom, get a drink, some water, some coffee, check their phone messages, return any emergency phone calls. Given the break is going to give them a refresher so that when they do come back, they're ready to concentrate. And they're paying more attention to the agenda versus what's going on outside of the meeting. And it also, I've also been in meetings where people will be emailing under the table. They think you don't see them, but they're actually, under there with their phone trying to send messages. So it'll prevent those things from happening and bring more attention to what's going on inside the meeting. You also want to stay focused. They really should stay tightly focused on the agenda itself. Sometimes it's easy for things, for people to start asking questions, and one thing leads to another, and you're talking about a whole different thing when you're in time constraint. So at some point, let the participants know that you're offering them a chance to discuss side issues such as theoretical problems or philosophical questions, something that's not relevant to the purpose of the meeting, separately. Just let them know that they can come to you at a later time after the meeting and go over those things and get those questions answered. And the reason for that is a lot of the side issues may only pertain to one person that's at the meeting, or they may be of personal nature and they don't need to be discussed in front of everyone else. The time constraints, there's a lot of reasons for that. And these are just a few of the pointers on how to hold productive meetings. There are hundreds and hundreds of pointers out there. These were some of the ones that I thought were the most important that I wanted to share with you today. I've enjoyed giving the presentation. I hope I was of help to you, and thank you for your assistance this year. I enjoyed the class and I learned a lot. Thank you.